And welcome everybody to another episode of Mac Yak number 83. How you guys doing today?
Hello.
All right.
I'm doing
Good.
all right.
Sound check.
Yep. Make
Sound
sure
check.
everybody can hear everybody. So let's get a
Can
confirmation
you hear
before we
me?
go.
Me.
Yeah. Stop doing that,
Not
Grudy.
funny, Gritty.
Grudy's trying to pretend like.
All right. Sean says
All
sounds
right.
good.
Good.
All right, guys. So we got another
Excellent.
good episode. There's only going to be five of us here tonight. One of us, Steve, has no power. Has had no power for a couple of days. He might pop in the chat maybe if he's got enough bandwidth on his LTE phone or not. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Steve has no power, so he's at his in-laws right now, um, where they do have power. So that's the reason why he's not on tonight.
What about the bunnies?
I don't know. He didn't say
Yeah, they'll be
anything
fine.
about the bunny. Well, we were talking about he might have to eat them if you know. But he was like, no, he'd eat cat food before he eat bunnies.
I definitely eat the bunnies first.
I won't tell him what I did in
It's like
survival
cycle.
school then. So, you know, when I went to survival school in Washington State. So, anyways, Rocky is not here for a different reason. It's a sadder reason. And I think we should probably mention this and send our thoughts and prayers to Rocky. But Rocky lost his mom, I think it was Monday, uh, uh, when he lost his mom. So I
Was
think
it
it was,
Monday?
I can't remember. I know it was this week or it was Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember what day it was.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Friday. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Rocky.
If we forgot,
I
yeah.
can't remember
But
what day.
Rocky, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you know, we wish you well. I believe that they're having a virtual service tomorrow. I don't have the exact time right in front of me, but if any of you guys get it, you can put it in the chat there. I appreciate that. They can go and watch it. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's one of the things right there. Mike, we just don't know where Mike is, so. All right. So, anyways, guys, we got a good show tonight. Hopefully, we'll keep a lot of you guys interested tonight. So, the first thing we got tonight is we're going to try to get through some of this quick because I do want to get to Bruce's topic tonight. We got a lot of stuff, but I want to get to Bruce's stuff tonight. I definitely want to see that.
Okay.
So let's go ahead with the news, history, etc. The first thing in here is August 7th, 2006, the first Mac Pro. It is also Mac of the Month on Apple serial numbers info.com, which is Jay's serial number site. Very awesome serial number site. If you have not tried it yet, give it a shot and give it a try. I think you get 3 free searches a day, if I'm right, Jay. Unless you're a paid
Yeah.
up member, and then you get unlimited.
And you can vote for next month's Mac of
There
the
we
Month,
go.
which right now the iMac is kicking everything.
And I'm pretty upset about that when there's a Quad 700 there as well.
We'll start voting.
I did. I voted. I'm only allowed one vote.
I mean, the iMac is. Whew, people love the iMac. What can
I don't know
say?
why.
I mean, so do I. But there's a Quad
Yeah,
700.
exactly. I mean, I have an iMac sitting behind me here. It's a 2010. And I still use it really regularly. In fact, that's my electronic bench iMac. So I use that to go to like sites like iFixit or other things that I need to see when I'm actually doing my electronic repair work.
Oh, you need 27-inch for that,
Right.
do you? Mhm.
My eyes they're bad, so I need that
Oh.
bigger font. August 3rd, 1993, the original Newton message pad. Who had one of these things?
I think
I had one
Steve
on
and
loan.
Bruce did.
Yeah, I never owned
I-
one, so.
Yeah, I didn't actually own one. The company that I work for, they allowed me to use one for work. But unfortunately, when I left that company, they wanted it back. I was hoping they might forget I had it, but they didn't. But yeah, so I did use one. Look, I always felt with the Newton, it was kind of, it was never particularly useful for me. I'll just say that. So
Well, the closest I think I ever got to something like a Newton was I had a one of those Palm Pilots that had that graffiti style. I mean, I never got used to that graffiti writing. It sucked. And from what I understand, the original Newton's handwriting recognition was horrible to say the least, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
mean, if Steve was here, he would defend it vigorously.
Well, he's not here, so.
Well, okay, in his place, I'll say by the time they released the last one, the handwriting recognition had got really good.
All right.
Channeling Steve.
So, next one, August 4th of this year. Guess what just got released? The new iMac is introduced, and it's possibly the last Intel iMac. So, what's you guys' thoughts on this new iMac that just got released?
I haven't looked into it that far yet, but the specs sound good. What, up to 60% faster and all that?
Well, let's put it this way. The 27-inch iMac has no spinner at all in it anymore. It's all SSD.
None of them have a spinner in them
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, actually, you can get a Fusion drive.
Right, but the base
with the
base
base
config-
21 inch, the 21 and a half inch
Yeah.
model, you can get the old Fusion.
you can get a Fusion drive,
but
the old 5400 RPM drives are gone.
yeah, which
Finally.
about time. But
You have to at this point.
huh?
If you look at the new file system, APFS, it had like 400 some updates since it was introduced in High Sierra. And it's a good file system. A lot of perks and benefits, but on a spinner hard drive, the fragmentation is so bizarre, so extreme, that it turns a spinning hard drive into complete garbage. So if you want to upgrade to, there's ways around it with Mojave, but it's not easy. You have to do some tinkering around. But Mojave, Catalina, upcoming Big Sur, don't do it without an SSD.
So
Just don't.
Raphael is asking, what are they moving into then? Apparently, he hasn't been following what Apple's been doing, but as of the last
That's why we're here.
WWDC of last month, about a month ago, Apple is going to its own, what it's calling its own silicon, Apple Silicon. So it's going to be coming out with its own ARM processors. Basically, what you see in the new iPad Pros is basically going to be the start of the new Apple system on a chip. There we go. Brock just said it. SoC, system on a chip. So that's what they're planning on going to. My thing is, I think the first ones we're going to see is going to be in the laptops. The last ones we will see it in will probably be the Mac Pro. That's just my
usually how it happens.
yeah. That's just my thinking on it, because the Mac Pros have to have very good processors in them versus something that's on an iPad Pro. I don't think they've gotten to that point yet to have it in a Pro machine.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the. I haven't really kept up with it, but I don't think an ARM can keep up with an i9 or a Xeon at this point.
I don't think so either, but who knows? Also, got a little interesting thing here where somebody sent me it's not a link, it's a picture off of a article, I guess. The 2020 27-inch iMac, the new one, has non-upgradable SSD modules, which is probably true because, remember, the Mac Mini that just came out has non-replaceable SSD in it. They're soldered to the board. So that kind of concerns me too. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I think we were all hoping with the Mac Pro that came out that was so modular, so upgradable, that they might pass that on to the iMacs as well.
Yeah.
But they clearly, well,
There's no
we'll
reason
see.
why they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You got plenty of space in there.
well, especially if they're getting rid of the
Um,
spinner. Look at all the space that saves.
Yeah. Well, they might
Yeah.
need that for additional fans. Cool.
That's true.
I mean, we'll see when iFixit usually do a teardown when these things come out. Still too early for that, but it'll be interesting to see when they do a teardown and pull it apart and have a look at everything inside. Just how it goes from an upgradability point of view, but it'll probably be terrible.
It's been out a couple days, so I bet you they've already got their hands on it. They probably already tore it down, and
Mhm.
it'll
Oh,
probably
yeah.
be up on the website maybe next day or two. So keep an eye on ifixit.com because I'm pretty sure that's going to come out pretty quick. And the last bit of news is OpenCore had a new update just recently. They just dropped it 0.6.0. However, at this time, I do not recommend upgrading to it if you're using OpenCore, because there are some people, myself included, I upgraded to 0.6.10, did exactly how Martin Lowe said to do it, and all I got was a black screen. It wouldn't do anything. I had to basically go in, target disk mode to my Mac with the laptop, using FireWire to fix my EFI drive back to 0.5.9. Once I did that, I had no problems. So even Martin Lowe's saying, stick with 0.5.9 right now, if you are on that, because some machines are not liking the new update, and mine is one of them. So I don't know what's going on with it, but I think Martin Lowe is working on it, and he actually thanked me for my uh, report there on one of the Facebook groups we're in. So, anyways, I thought, go
Yeah,
ahead.
you'll
Oh, yeah,
figure it
you will.
out.
All right, guys. So, first topic of the evening, and this one is inspired by a couple of weeks ago when we had one of the guys that we don't have tonight because he has no power. He lost power during MacYac.
Yep. Dear
Yeah,
Steve.
Steve lost power
Um,
and he did not have battery backup. So, take it away, Jay.
I don't like shaming people when they're not here, but I get over it pretty quick. Do it anyway.
It's easier. It's
Yeah,
easier.
those of you that were here, you might remember Steve had a pretty bad storm going on, lightning strike, and poof, he was gone. In his defense, since then, he has replaced the batteries. So now when his power goes out, well, not for days at a time, but short outages, his modem and internet stay alive. But he ignored rule number 1. Test your battery backups. If you have battery backups, you got to test them. If the power I get here, I'm in Ohio, same as the rest of the country. All the power lines are above ground. Pigeon shits on the cable. I lose power for a few seconds. And I hear my battery backups clicking several times a day where they catch either a brownout or they have to make up for the loss of power for a few seconds. I have to replace my batteries twice a year in all of the battery backups. So I test them frequently. Once every 2 months, I test them, see how long my system stays on, shuts itself down if the battery is still good. You gotta do it.
Especially
If
some
you
of these
don't,
newer battery backups that have the USB connected into it, where it's supposed to automatically tell your computer to shut down. For instance, right now, mine actually does have a battery indicator up on the title bar, and it's showing
Mine too.
my power source is power adapter. However, it says unknown time remaining because it doesn't give me that much information, but it does show me that I'm at 100% on the battery. It does show a percentage of the battery,
yeah.
which is a good thing. So, like Jay was saying, unplug it and watch that battery meter go down. See how long you have before it shuts down. And technically, it's supposed to actually soft shut down your computer at the same time.
Yeah. You have to do the energy saver settings to configure it the way you like it. But the only way to know if it works, same with backup, same with everything else, is to test it. And I'm going to throw my dad under the bus here for a minute. He has it all hooked up to a UPS. And I'm like, when's the last time you tested? I don't know. I lost power last year. Well, you need to test it. Okay, what do I do?
Plug.
Hang the plug out the wall. I ain't doing that. What if I hooked it up wrong? I said, you need to know.
If you hooked it up wrong, you'll know.
Done it. Yeah. But, yep, gotta do it.
Anybody else got anything on this one?
I don't have a battery backup, so no comment.
Ooh.
I have them, but they're all underpowered and have really cheap Chinese batteries in them, so they fail all the time anyway.
Well, we expect
All
that
right.
from Grudy, though.
Good job, guys, leading by example. Well done.
Exactly.
Maybe
I mean,
maybe you gotta buy a few new
generate.
ones instead of getting the new iMac there, Grudy.
Oh, yeah. Grudy said he was going to buy a new iMac, but I don't think he wants to now that it does have a T2 chip in it. So
He still has a 12-core Mac Pro that he's never touched.
Does he?
Well, it's still an 8-core. I had never changed it
Dude.
to a 12-core.
Thanks for making my point.
Okay.
Is that what's making all the wind noise that your mic's picking up?
Yes, because my what is it? North Bridge, South Bridge, whichever
Bridge.
one's between the two
That's
CPUs.
the North Bridge.
North Bridge.
He's
It's never been repasted. It runs really hot, so I have to keep it cool.
Dude, it takes you about 5 minutes
I
to repace that thing.
All you need is a pair of these.
No, stay away from the pliers. Action Retro says he doesn't have one either. So Sean, we're gonna have to shame him too.
Yeah, but the capacitors in those old
Yeah.
Macs have enough juice to keep going for 5 minutes after you pull the plug.
That's
anyway.
true.
You
That's
don't need
probably
it.
true.
But yeah, it can be pricey. I have
Yeah,
I have 80 battery backups in the house. All of them take 2 or more batteries. It costs me about $400 a year to keep them all up and running. That's a lot of money for
but you
humble me
stand to
anyway.
lose a lot more if you don't
Yes. If the power goes out and fries my power supply for the Mac Pro, that's $100. If it blows out the power supply in the iMac, it's still cheaper to buy batteries than to buy new components for
Well,
your
especially since you can't
or
really,
TV or whatever
especially
you
since
have.
you can't really get those components for an iMac. You'd have to
tricky.
get them from. You'd have to part them from another machine that's not serviceable.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
Apple ain't gonna sell you the parts.
Oh yeah.
So
Don't listen to these guys. Just do it. Just do it.
I've
Do
got
yourself
one. I got a
favor.
brand new one here.
Protect your equipment and put a battery backup in.
all right. So we're moving along pretty quick tonight. So we are probably going to get to your segment.
Hey, you
there.
wanted to go quick. We're
Yeah.
going quick.
We're definitely going to probably get to your segment there, Bruce.
Wonderful. If we get there too quick, I'll have to drain
All
it
right.
right out.
Next topic. This one can get a little bit tricky here tonight. Has anybody tried any of the new alternative solutions for social media? And what we're talking about, for instance, everyone knows that Facebook has censorship, Twitter has censorship, Google, YouTube even has censorship. They shadow ban people, stuff like that. But there are alternatives out there. Okay, some of the alternatives. Parler is an alternative for Twitter, where they claim that they don't censor anybody. Let me see. What's some of the other ones? Spreely.
Well, they don't censor anybody, but they go pretty far with it. Like, I can register as Greg Thompson and don't have to prove that I am who I say I am. And you're like, hey, wait, I'm Greg
Well, you can do the
Thompson.
same thing on Twitter, kind of too. So.
Yeah, we can do that.
I know,
on
but you
Instagram.
can clear it up and have a little check mark to verify your account and all that.
Yeah, but
Parler does not appear to be that strict with verification.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing though: is how many people are actually using that? Gab is another one that Dan's got on there, which is it's another Twitter alternative. I think I'm on Gab for some. I got on it and I don't really follow it much, but I do have an account over there. I know that Jay and I have tried Spreely, which is a Facebook alternative. However,
So did I.
when they first came out, it sucked. I mean,
It sucked
I
so
think we
badly
tried
I
at the
never
same
went
time
back.
with the PowerPC.
What's- Jay, your audio just went way down.
Just gone real quiet.
I think you lost your
Yeah.
mic.
Yep, there you go.
Hello?
That's better.
There you go.
We tried Spreely the same time last year as the PowerPC
I
Challenge,
think
didn't
so,
we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was garbage. Absolute
Yeah.
terrible garbage. But
Now, you guys got me to sign up for it about 3 months ago, and apparently they had fixed a lot of stuff because it was a lot like using Facebook and it almost looks like Facebook, but
It has improved a lot,
does.
and they have an
Yeah.
iOS app now. That helps.
They do?
that's good.
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna have to try them again. I
apart
haven't
from
been
that-
back on Spreely since, that debacle, but I have to go back and look.
I haven't been back on either, and I'm about to see if it's just as good
I
as
mean,
I'm hearing.
all of us have our own political views here, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but that site was just the opposite of Facebook. Okay, and if everybody knows how Facebook leans, then if you go the opposite, that's the total polar opposite.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the problem with a lot of these networks. You got BitChute, Spreely, Gab, Brighteon. These are all networks that were started by people that usually got banned from, the popular.
BitChute,
Ones
I
out
think,
there.
was around well before YouTube, or around the same time as YouTube. It's been around for quite
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, but they were dead until they got some funding.
Yeah.
I mirror all my videos that are on YouTube. I mirror them on BitChute. Not that I think that I'm gonna get banned from YouTube anytime soon, although
Well, Jay and
I
I
might,
may
who
get
knows?
banned from Facebook sometime soon, but
Oh,
expected that to happen already.
Spreely is still slow.
It is slow, but not slow to the point where I don't want to use it. I want to give it another shot.
It's painfully slow, Jay. It's still loading.
Yeah, you're on Wi-Fi. I don't listen to anything you say.
Now, look, this is just totally my opinion, and I'm not sort of suggesting that anyone else should think this way. I don't post anything political on social media.
I don't.
For me, social media is not for that purpose. So I don't use social media to try and spread my political views or try and influence other people into my political views or anything like that. Social media for me is more of a channel for communicating with people that I know, or communicating with customers, or communicating people with like interests, that sort of thing. And so you will never see a political post by me ever. So from my perspective, unless they just suddenly start banning Australians or something like that, I can't really see.
They should have been
the
doing
need
that a
for
long
you to-
time ago.
Of course.
But that's fine. That's fine, Bruce. And I have no problem with that. And like me, I actually do post a lot of stuff like that, but that's me. I mean, that's my expression there, and that's, if you don't like it, and this is the way I tell people. If you don't like what I post, just scroll on by.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
very true.
It's like this. I graduated with a major in political science from college, which taught me to just keep out of everything.
Money well
I
spent.
respect your opinion, even if I feel that your opinion is totally wrong. I'm not going to say anything because I just really don't care, and I don't want to get into the middle of a political fight.
Yeah. Look, I definitely agree with that. I think that's a very wise policy. I don't like seeing gore or sort of stuff that I can't unsee. So I'm quite happy for things like that to be censored. Some people seem to get like a bit of a kick out of watching, I don't know, dismembered bodies and stuff like that. That's not me. I don't ever want to look at something that I can't unsee. And so I'm quite happy for that sort of stuff to be censored or blurred out. At least give me the choice to say, you know what, I want to see blood and gore, so I'm going to click on the link. Don't show me a preview that I don't want to see, that sort of thing. So, if there's at least a warning up there to say, look, this contains some pretty hardcore stuff, I can make the choice myself as to whether I want to watch it or not.
There's the perfect point, and you just actually said it perfect.
Choice.
Is the user has the choice, not the platform making that choice for you. And that's what's starting to tick off a lot of people about Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, is that those three platforms right there that I just mentioned are making a lot of choices for people to see what they want you to see and not what you want to go and actually see. There is no, to be honest with you, on those three platforms, there is no freedom of speech on those three platforms. However, they actually fall under a law which actually protects them, from...
What was it? Act 2 or 230
I can't remember
or something?
what it is. It's Article 2 or something like that. I can't remember, but they actually are protected if a user posts something that is like hate speech or whatever else. You know, they to be honest with you, I don't think hate speech should be out there. But you know what? It's a First Amendment right that you can say that. Okay, I don't mind that, but just don't censor somebody because you don't like their point of view. Okay, there are
Yeah.
tons of point of views out there. Everybody has a different point of view. Let the user decide whether he or she wants to see that point of view. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. And because
I
I
mean-
don't know how it's gonna go, I mean, I use Facebook. Hello, Kitty. I use Facebook mostly, and of course YouTube. But I have accounts on all the other platforms. I have accounts on Gap, on BitChute, on Spreely, and I don't use them that much. But in case I need them, I got them. Hopefully, I won't need them ever. But
I mean, I think sometimes these social media platforms are in a bit of, you know, if they put something on there that a whole bunch of people get offended by, they get dragged through the media about, you know, they need to get this stuff down, or if they, you know, if someone live streams a heinous act or something like that. So I sort of feel in some ways they are, even if it's just from a PR perspective, kind of trying to protect themselves from being the avenue for that sort of stuff. So I can see why they do have certain measures in place, because, you know, the next thing you know, they end up in the news. It's like,
But
oh,
Bruce,
look at this. This thing was up for an hour and then wasn't
Bruce,
taken
they're
down.
already
That sort
protected
of thing.
from that. There's a law that protects them.
Look at the legal. Put the legal side bit aside. Think of it more from a marketing and PR perspective about, you know,
Well, it's already biting them,
you know,
for
if
not,
if these
you know.
if these companies are relying on advertising, and advertisers say, we're not going to advertise on your you know, your website because you're not sort of censoring this stuff, they're going to start censoring it. Forget about the law side of it. That's just they're making money. As I say, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it. I'm just talking about the position that they get put in because of the way they work.
yeah, but the reason why we would be trying other platforms aside, because this can go on for hours. Trust me, days. Get me started. How about any of these platforms? Are you guys using any of them?
I am not using any of those. In fact, I use Twitch because I use that as my streaming platform. However, they're getting to be the same way as some of the other ones. And now, what's the
Spot.
other one that everybody's going to now? There's a new game streaming platform. I can't remember the name of it, but one of the biggest Twitch streamers moved over to the new one, and I can't. If somebody knows it, can type it in the chat. But there's a new Twitch streaming service that I forget the guy's name, but he was the biggest Twitch streamer.
The Fortnite player.
I believe it might have been.
He went to Microsoft
Yeah.
service and now they're shutting it down.
Oh, they shut it down.
That's what I heard.
Probably because it's not as popular. I mean, Twitch has just gotten too big. I mean, Twitch is like YouTube, okay? They are like the game streaming channel. The only problem with Twitch nowadays is that unless you, like, I think Jay has said it before, unless you got, you know, you're a female, good-looking female, you're not gonna get a lot of viewers on there.
I gained some weight during all this lockdown. Even I'm not
Yeah.
in good enough shape to make it on Twitch. So.
Mixer, that's it, Mixer. And Ninja was the one, yes. Golden Panda got it, and Scarlet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Action Retro said Mixer, yeah. That was it. Mixer is the new one, and Ninja moved over from Twitch to it. And Twitch was mad. And you know what Twitch did? They started streaming a lot of porn on his old channel on Twitch. Yeah, I was like,
why would they do that? Why would
because
they do that?
they were angry.
Because they're a bunch of
They were trying to make it look like he was doing it, okay, but they got caught, okay, so.
Yeah, well, I bet nothing happened to him.
No,
either.
he left Twitch, so how could they do anything to him?
Well,
I
was
don't
just-
expect
No, I
any-
mean nothing happened to them.
Well,
for
no,
doing it.
because they own the platform, so they can do whatever they want.
you're going to love this. The reason why they shut down Mixer is because Microsoft partnered with Facebook Gaming.
Oh, really?
They got replaced with Facebook Gaming.
God.
What an exciting name.
Yeah.
Is that why I've been seeing so many of these different gamers playing on Facebook now? And they pop up in my feed now,
Yes.
and I'm like,
Come on, guys, join my Facebook gaming
Yeah.
channel. Smash that
well,
subscribe
there's no
button.
subscribe button on that. It's just either like or
Whatever.
follow, I think.
Facebook gaming.
But
And I just did want to add one thing really quickly to this topic. I promise this will just be a
Yeah.
really, really quick one. But when one of the big issues with all of this stuff is the fact that these sorts of things change at an incredibly rapid pace. And often the people that make the rules, make the laws, they move at a glacial pace. And so a lot of the time, things like legislation and laws and rules and stuff like that are just simply not keeping up with the sorts of things that are happening on these media channels. And I don't know what the solution to that is. I mean, you listen to a politician a lot of the time, and they haven't got a clue about technology.
well,
So,
that's obvious there.
Like
Yeah, so, I
guy
mean-
grilling Zuckerberg about an account that was banned. That was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. That was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, I know. That's and so and you figure if these are the people that are coming up with the rules, you know, they're never going to be
No,
on top of
they're
it.
not.
They're never going to be on top of the situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't expect any of these alternative platforms to, I'm not going to say ever, but in the short term, compete with any of the giants. Facebook, undisputed king of social media. YouTube, can't compete. But just keeping my eggs in multiple baskets. I follow whoever I follow on YouTube. I look them up on BitChute. Usually they're not there unless it's some kind of political thing. These people are like, I'm never gonna get banned.
And then they get banned.
So I try to build up the same kind of networks on the other platforms, just as a backup in case I need it. Someone I watch get banned from YouTube, then I know where to find them on the other platforms.
Yeah.
When it comes to Facebook friends or social networks where I interact with people, it's all still
Yeah.
Facebook. It's probably not going to change anytime soon. I try to build it out, but it's not going to get used for a while.
All right, so that kind of segues into our next topic is basically our favorite YouTube channels. Now, we're going to talk about our favorite as Mac Yak. However, one of the caveats to this is we can't mention any one of our own channels as our favorites. Okay, so I got everybody to try to pick 5 of their favorites, so we can go through these real quick. I'm going to start off with mine. The very first one I got on my list is Computer Clan. Okay, I do like Ken's videos. He does some very professionally made videos. I am a Patreon of him right now, so I do support him. No. Plus, he has actually been on Mac Yak several times too. So
Yes, he has.
he is actually a pretty good there. My next one on my list is Linus Tech Tips. Now I like his channel, even though he hates Macs, period. He does have a lot of good tips on there and stuff. Now there's some that are just stupid as hell, like the last Mac one that he did make, or his buddy made, about the G3 that Steve had to make a, what do you call it? What kind of video did they call that? The response video. Yeah. So
Yes.
Steve had to make a response video. It was that bad. My next one on my list is 8-Bit Guy. I love watching his videos. I like some of his stuff. I like his Commodore stuff especially. He does a lot of Commodore stuff. He writes his own programs and stuff too, so he does a lot of that stuff. The next on my list is Snazzy Labs. I like some of his videos too because he does a lot of Apple stuff. However, he does other stuff as well, but he has some good quality stuff there as well. And he gives you
I like the way he presents too.
and he gives a
Yeah.
no.
He's not afraid to be critical of
Exactly,
Apple.
like us. We're pretty critical of Apple. He is actually pretty critical of Apple too sometimes.
We should invite him sometime.
And my last one, a lot of people probably don't know this one, is a channel called Curious Mark. And the reason why I like his channel, and I started watching his channel, is because he does a lot of he repairs a lot of old stuff that cannot be replaced. In other words, they took, when I first started watching them, they took a lunar lander computer and basically repaired it and made it functional again. And this is a one-of-a-kind item that they could not get parts for or anything. They had to make everything that they had needed to fix it. Some of the things had putty, you know how they used to put the components in? They would put sealant in all the components. It was like a polymer. They had to drill through this stuff and get it into it to replace certain components. So watching that, and they actually got it to work, but he's actually done one. They just did a new video on a Alto. He just repaired a Alto, and they went to a computer show, and it's fully functional again. I'm talking about the disk drives, everything.
Right.
So
For people who don't know what an Alto is, it was the computer made at Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, and it was arguably the first computer with a graphical user interface.
it was actually what inspired Steve Jobs to make the Mac. So
Yep, that's right.
Grudy, your mic may be off, but I can tell exactly what you just said.
Yeah, I need to be a lip reader to figure that one out.
But that one is, his name is called, the name of the guy is Curious Mark. Okay, I think he is a German because the accent is really, really strong. But and he doesn't do a lot of. It's almost like a Grudy video where he just shows stuff and they just talk about it, you know, and he's just like all over the place. So he just doesn't bleed on stuff like Rudy does. So, all right. So I'm going to throw it over to Jay and let's give your 5.
I cannot mention my own, but I can mention you guys, or
none of us.
Nope.
Oh,
no
Mac
stuff.
Oh crap. Okay, and I'll go with I got like 600 subscriptions of stuff being restored, stuff being fixed, all that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna pick a few at random. We got Louis Rossmann. We got iPad Rehab, where they fix iPads. Let's see. What's the other one?
What about what's his name? The Louis Rossmann's buddy up in Australia, Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels. That's the one. Frankie McDonald's. He's a weather forecaster from Canada. A barrel of laughs. I watched that one. And yeah, let's go Macintosh Library.
There we go. Shit.
It's impossible for me to pick 5.
Yeah, and actually,
as long as stuff is being fixed. Like I watch a lot of Bruce's streams because he fixes stuff, so that's what I watch. But if all of you guys are ruled out, and
all right, Grudy, you're next.
Well, of course, I watch Computer Clan. I mean, who doesn't? Especially who watches us. But I watch other people too that don't get many subscribers. For instance, Griffin Sander, who I've talked to him a few times. He's a nice guy. He does videos similar to mine, and he just really works at it. He does a lot of interesting things, like he did some Power Mac G5 stuff a while back. I helped him with a video once upon a time. Very good guy, Griffin Sander. I watch Tech Moan.
Let's
see here. Where did the list go? That's 3. And I also watch Technology Connections. Technology Connections. He covers so many interesting things. He makes such technical videos that are so interesting that you're never bored.
Actually that's one of my favorites too, but I didn't list it in my 5. But yeah.
Yeah.
You are not in my 5.
Let's see here. I watch other people too. I'm trying to think the one that I watch all the time that I actually got my style from. For the life of me, can't remember his name.
We've got to get all the links to these in the description at the end of the show too, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we'll have
GT's
to.
job.
No,
I feel so bad. I don't
I'm about to
remember
make
his
Steve
name.
do that since he's not here.
Right.
But yeah, I watched that guy too. But since I didn't mention a name, I need one more.
You
and I
don't
can't.
need it if you can't think of it.
Tangents is a
Never
good
heard
one
of that
too.
one.
He used to be called Akabuku.
I'm glad he changed it.
Yeah, why'd you say?
I can never pronounce it, but he's very good. He's similar to Duraga One. He's in fact friends with Duraga One. So he's a very good guy to watch too.
All right, Bruce, your turn.
Okay, so mine aren't all tech
That's
Mac
fine,
ones, so I'll just go through them quickly. So EEV blog.
Oh, yeah,
That's David Jones, the Australian guy that talks like this all the time. He's a bit of
funny.
fun. I mean, because he gets his hands on some really unusual stuff and then pulls them apart and goes through and explains stuff. His voice might get on your nerves after a while, but he really knows his stuff.
You know who he
He's a
sounds
real
like?
clever cookie.
Is
So,
I think his voice is every guy.
His voice sounds like the crocodile hunter. If you listen,
He does.
doesn't he?
That's what I always think about. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see the parallel. So yeah, EEV blog. That's a great channel. I like watching that one. Tech Talk America, which is this guy that does tutorials. I stumbled across his channel when I was looking for a Final Cut Pro 10 tutorial, and he's got an absolutely fantastic tutorial on Final Cut Pro if you're wanting to learn how to use it, and he does tutorials on sort of all sorts of things, having a successful YouTube channel, lots and lots of stuff. So Tech Talk America, I highly recommend that one. Corridor Crew, that's a bunch of guys that do special effects, and they put together special effects scenes from movies, and then they sit there and provide a commentary on them, which ones are really good and which ones are really bad.
That's a fun channel.
And that's so that's just straight out entertainment. That one I highly recommend. That Corridor Crew. Epic Light Media, not a lot of videos on that, but he does a lot of good tutorials on lighting for videoing stuff, which of course, if you're doing YouTubing and stuff like that, where to put the lights, how to make them more dramatic, how to adjust your camera. And he just takes these scenes and he says, look, here's just a standard scene, and then here's what I do to it by moving a few lights and, doing this and that, and then all of a sudden you look at it and you go, wow, what a difference that is. So that's quite fun. And then last of all, which is absolutely and totally unrelated to anything at all, is one called Up and Atom, ATOM. And that's a channel where it's this young Australian woman that just talks about incredibly complicated mathematics and explains them in a really easy to understand way. And I just it's just fun stuff. I'm just one of these people that always consider that education should never stop. And it's just good learning stuff that you maybe don't understand, and I think, okay, I'm in my late 40s, time to learn it.
Dana, before you go, can I throw in one more that I
Sure.
forgot?
Absolutely.
I don't know the official channel name. I think they're called the Slow Motion Guys.
The
Slow-mo
slow-mo
guys.
Slow-mo
Yeah.
guys. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, carry on.
So mine, as far as tech channels between Grudy and GT, pretty much covered them all. With I don't watch a whole lot of Linus, but everything else I pretty much keep up on. So I chose ones that aren't tech related that I watch quite a bit. The first one is it's just a guy's name, Andrew Camerata. He has his own. I don't know if he does landscaping. He does everything from operating heavy machinery and guy built his own castle out of shipping containers and concrete up in the mountains of upstate New York. And he buys old equipment, fixes it up, fixes the engines, gets them running, and takes them on jobs. And that's all it is. It's like him. He said, today we're going to build a driveway, and you get to watch him. He time lapses it, and it's really kind of fascinating to watch. and he does all kinds of home projects. Like he built his own um, hot tub into the side of like the mountain that he lives on. All kinds of really cool stuff. Secondly, would be Red Letter Media. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
No?
Um, they do movie reviews, and they'll sit down and they'll watch like crappy old B movies and just commentate on it. It's kind of like Mystery Science Theater a little bit. And they just sit around and they just talk about it. And they're pretty well established, I think, on YouTube. They've been around for quite a while. Third is Scotty Kilmer. He has his own. He's a mechanic. He's a car mechanic, and he has his own channel, and
Yeah.
he takes all kinds of questions from people,
I
has all
watch
kinds
him
of
very
advice.
often.
Yeah, I like Scotty, and
He's
his
on my
videos
list,
are
too.
short. It's not like you're sitting there watching him talk for half an hour. It's like 10 minutes,
I mean,
and
it's
then he's
not
done.
like Bruce's streams, you
Um,
know, 6 hours long.
It's not like
Oh,
Steve's
Steve,
stream.
Steve, not
sorry,
me.
Steve.
I like Scotty, but his thumbnails and titles are pure.
He's very
unadulterated clickbait.
clickbaity, and
Yeah.
and he knows it. And I just once you know his pattern, like 3 times a week he'll post something about how he's leaving YouTube.
Yeah, I'll
He's not
get
leaving
banned.
YouTube. He doesn't even talk about it in the video.
Right.
So it's just he's having fun with it. I think trying to get people riled up, but he's got a lot of good information. He's very smart, and
There's not
in
a
an
lot
age
of love
where-
for Scotty Kilmer in the chat there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dan does not like him. He says it's an auto tech. He is an insult to us.
Yeah. Same with this guy called Chris Fix, some kid that fixes all kinds of car-related stuff. People seem to hate him with a passion too, but I've got some good tips from it.
All right, so
I got
Go
2
ahead.
more.
He's got
That
some
was
more.
3.
Yep.
Number 4 is auto auction rebuilds. This guy, he used to be an Uber driver, and his channel was called Uber Man, and so he would give all kinds of tips to people wanting to do that sort of thing, how to do your taxes, how to maximize your profits, and all this other stuff. He was very, very well informed. When Uber started getting into a lot of trouble in cities were trying to push them out in favor of the existing taxi services, Uber just started going downhill, and so he got out of it and he started his own channel where he goes to like Copart lots and buys cars and fixes them up. And for a while he was reselling them, and then he found out that is technically illegal in the state where he lives. So he partnered with the guy who has a little dealership, and so they do that sort of stuff. And now he's building his own shop. It's been really interesting watching him move out of literally a trailer, and now he's got his own house. He's got a business. He's got a lot of money. He drives a brand new Dodge Hellcat, and he's got a brand new Dodge pickup truck. So it's been a journey that I've enjoyed watching. And then the last channel is called Vice Grip Garage, and this is a guy up I think in Wisconsin. And he's one of those that goes around and finds a car that's been sitting in a field for 30 years and gets it running right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they tell him, if you can get it running, you can take it home. And so he'll take it home and he'll turn it into a racer or, whatever. But it's just fun watching him try to figure out how to fix those old cars. And so that's what I watch that's not tech related.
Yeah, you basically watch everything I watch when I'm not watching tech stuff.
Can I just make an honourable mention here? I forgot to mention this one. What's that channel with the guy with a hydraulic press that just films crushing?
Hydraulic press
yeah.
channel.
That's sort of the
He's
day
in,
we got.
Or
to crush a piece of
what about the
copper, you know,
channel?
so-
Will it blend? He takes it, puts
Yes.
The one with the giant
no, he
shredder.
puts stuff in a blender, and it's like, will it blend?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
that one's
for
gone
Red Tech.
downhill in the last few years. Though.
There's one that there's several now, but there's one that's been doing this the longest. He has one of those big shredders where you can toss everything into hard drives, computers, chairs. And he's been upgrading over the past few years. He now has one that takes up half a parking lot, so buses and cars and all kinds of stuff. You just watch stuff get shredded, and before you know it,
It's
time
so
for dinner.
relaxing, though, to watch stuff just.
It is.
Yes.
Well, that's like, for instance, there's a couple I mentioned in the chat here. A couple other people mentioned it, and I forgot about it. Is Tronic Fix. he's a pretty good channel too. He does a lot of game console repair, and then also my mate Vince. I don't know if you guys heard of him, where
Yeah,
he's
good.
basically a amateur repairer. He said he basically buys stuff. He's in England. He buys stuff and he attempts to repair it. I mean, he says right off the bat, I am not a professional. I mean, you watch it, his soldering skills have something to be desired. I mean, uh, he's got a lot. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he admits it. He says he's learning how to do the stuff, and he has fun doing it. And a lot of people watch him. So hey,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. And there's one guy. I don't know his name. I haven't seen his videos in forever. I forgot about him till now. But he's actually very smart. He shows you how things work, and on purpose, of course. He often burns himself or zaps himself.
I know the one
or
you're
something
talking
shorts
about.
out, explodes in his
Electro
face.
Boom.
oh yeah, I know what
Oh,
you're talking
yeah.
about. I haven't
That
seen
guy is
him.
hilarious.
And
But he's actually
he
really
does,
smart.
yeah, he
Yes.
does the videos in a way that looks like he's kind of these are all accidents, but
Yeah.
they're clearly not. He's doing that for entertainment. He's doing that to so his
Yeah.
videos go viral. Because as
The
you say,
electric
he's
guitar
not an
episode.
yeah. I mean, it's
Electro Boom, is that his name?
Yeah.
They're saying in chat,
Yeah.
Electro Boom.
You guys
It's
need to see
funny
the
stuff.
electric guitar episode. Just a wire plugged into the wall, strung up to a guitar and bass.
That's pretty good.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Electro
guys.
Boom, that's it.
So, are we ready for a little Eep action here?
Yeah, it might be.
I put a couple in there. There was nothing in there today, so I actually put a couple in there, and maybe I think one of these we may have done before, but we'll do it again anyways.
Are you skipping number 4?
No,
Or are we just going in between?
no, we're going in between.
Okay.
Choked yourself? What?
What?
Oh, shocked you. Okay. Never mind.
All right. So if you guys
channel you watching?
don't know what this is a thing that we're trying to have on here once a week. It's basically played as like have you ever, okay? However, our thing is if you have, you say eep. If you haven't, you say quack. All right. So we're going to mention these things, and we want you guys to type in the chat here eep if you have, quack if you haven't. The first one is, have you ever shocked yourself while repairing electronics? Eep.
Quack.
No, I haven't. Quack. I haven't.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eep.
Eep.
Yeah, big time.
I've
I
done
ever
it so
choked.
well that
Have
I've
you ever
actually
choked
not
yourself while repairing electronics? Like, why would I?
been able.
No. No,
I learned a lesson when I was very young. I was working on a light, like a really powerful light for filming stuff, and I was really young, and I was having some problems with the light, and I thought I'll just take the fuse out and check it. But I took the fuse out and checked it while it was on, so the light switch was off. The light wasn't actually on, but of course the fuse was live. So yeah, learned a very valuable lesson about AC voltage
well,
that day.
here's when I learned about it too. I used to be a radio repairman in the Army back in the early 80s. And we had these things called radio teletypes. I don't know if a lot of people know what those are, but one of the teletype machines requires 10 amps circuit to keep it functioning. Okay, if you don't have the 10 amps, then all you're going to hear is this, and it's just constantly doing that. It doesn't stop it from, it doesn't type anything. So one of the troubleshooting steps is to unplug the 10 amp circuit. It's screwed in. Well, I went and did that, and I actually touched it momentarily, and boy, that knocked me clear across the room. You don't ever want to touch something like that. I mean, my arm was numb for about 10 minutes. I mean,
Been there.
it's something that you don't ever want to. And I'm like, yep, I'm never going to touch that again. That was a lesson learned. All right.
Yeah, so at least we are learning
Yeah.
these lessons.
So who else in our group here has actually gotten shocked?
Oh, many times.
I quacked.
I know you quacked.
I could go into
I'm
detail,
going to
but
tell you
I-
something. There's those that have and
Definitely.
those that will. And Jay is in that will. You will get shocked one of these days. Trust me.
Eventually.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. I work on 12-volt electronics. I mean, there's not much that can happen.
True. But there's sometimes you might get shocked. All right, next one for the game round.
I have a
go
good
for it.
one. One time I shocked myself was when I was wiring the clamshell battery, and I had to shove the wires back into the battery, and I decided to use a metal screwdriver. That was a good one. That hurt like
Yeah, I
hell.
bet it did.
We got quite a few people in the chat that have zapped themselves
Yeah.
as well. So you're not alone.
All right, next one.
Yeah, I've been shocked by an electric fence, but not
Oh, I have
electronics
actually
that
have
I'm
done that
working
too,
on.
electric fence. But those aren't. That is not as
Electric
bad. That's
fence.
not as bad as that 10 amps that I got zapped with. But
Let me guess. You were the guys that were like, oh, you lost a dare or something, where someone
Go
said,
pee on it.
be on that fence. Yeah.
All right. So, next one is: have you ever forgot to charge your phone before going to work or going out and about? Eep.
Eep.
I can't imagine anyone is
Yeah.
going to quack
Anyone
Yeah.
says quack, you're a liar.
Everyone's
I don't
done
believe
it.
you.
Everyone's done it. I don't care.
Eep, eep. Okay, come on. We're getting all the eeps here. Yeah, I have done that before too. But luckily, I always have either my wife or I carry like a battery pack, so, or you have a short charger in the car, so.
Yeah, I always forget to charge the battery pack, and half the time my car charger's broken.
Yeah, that's you. There's a lot of eeps there. I don't
Yeah.
see any quacks.
Oh yeah. Good.
You shouldn't, because everyone's done
Oh,
it,
there's
I
one.
tell you.
Action Retro goes, how about using your phone as an alarm clock and forgot to charge it at night? Eep.
Eep.
Or you set it for PM
Well-
instead of AM.
I do the PM a lot.
I've done that one before.
That's
a
the
lot.
reason why I have my phone set to 24-hour mode. Because I'll never do the AM or PM,
Yep. Yeah, we should all be using it. shouldn't
Exactly.
We should.
If you look at my,
I used to when I was a kid.
but you should still be using it. That's one thing the
Yeah, I
Europeans get right,
I don't know.
is that they use 24-hour clocks.
we? And the metric
That's
system.
true,
We'll just
yeah.
while we're talking
Yeah.
about it.
That is true.
And food.
All right, last one I have on here is, have you ever made a computer worse while attempting to repair it? Eep.
Eep.
In other words, have you broken it more than it was broke? That, Grudy, we already know that's a big eep for you.
Oh yeah, I've got many
Exactly.
videos of me breaking it even worse.
In fact, I know that Colin has made some worse of yours.
Yeah. We won't go into
Yeah.
that.
Looks like we're getting.
There's a lot of
Yeah, I
eating
don't see
going
any
on.
quacks
Good.
here on this one.
Yeah.
I will say, in my offence, for the sake of my my career, that it doesn't happen very often anymore.
Well, yeah, you've learned a lot about it.
Oh right, we have customers watching. Wing.
Yeah, that's right.
So Action Retro goes, I've never fixed a computer, only made them worse.
Never. Okay.
Oh, whoa,
You know.
Matt Tech goes quack. Uh-oh. He's a liar. Yeah, I think he's...
Or
Not
he's
sure
never
if I
done a
can believe
repair.
that.
That's true.
Oh.
I can think of one good one's my Firewire 800 MBD. It was a fun episode.
All right, so that
All right,
ends the
that's my
Eat
one for the list.
Quack round. So you guys got any more you want to throw in there before we move on?
I had one, but I lost it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, next one. We actually had a video just recently that we just talked about, Computer Clan, Krazy Ken released, that both Bruce and Steve were in and didn't tell us that they were in, or even collaborated with Ken. See, they keep secrets from us guys, so,
Well, it was a funny one because Steve contacted me. He just said, Ken's doing this video and wanted to know if you wanted to help out with some of the research that he's doing. And I said, yeah, sure, happy to help out. So we hook up this call. There's Ken, Steve, me, just having a Skype call. Steve's on for like 2 minutes and realizes that he's made a commitment or something and has to go. So he comes on and he's gone. So then it's just me. So I was like, yeah, I can help you, Steve. Sure, why not? And so, and then he basically just wanted to know what makes computers fail when they get old. And we just talked about all of the things, and then he did the video, and I think a very easy to understand way. It was a great
Yeah, it was
video, I
actually a
thought.
pretty good video.
Yeah, certainly.
For
If anything, a little too
yeah,
short.
I
I could have
I think
watched that for an hour.
Bit brief.
yeah, I think he could have made that a little bit longer. Uh, and to be honest with you, he had the 8-bit guy on there, but I think he should have probably had you on as the video portion because, to be honest with you, Bruce, you have more knowledge of that, I think, than the 8-bit guy.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know enough of the 8-bit guy's background, but it is fairly clear that he has a pretty solid electronics background. So I mean, I can definitely
Have you ever
understand.
seen him solder?
And he has a lot more subscribers than that. No, I haven't.
Okay, I would pit your soldering skills against his and pick you any day, to be honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, look, I was sort of happy to be, to be involved with that. I mean, I wasn't, wasn't a huge deal from my perspective. So, always happy to help people out with that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was good.
Let's see. Oh, hold on. Kenny's Bustron says, which video are you referring to? It's a video about what? It was last week, last Thursday. Was put out.
Let me see if we can find a link for it.
I got the link.
It was titled
You
"Why Do Computers Die" or something like that, I think. Yeah, there it is. They put the link up in there. But
That's not a license to go watch it.
Exactly.
Now.
You watch it
we're
after.
done.
Don't go now.
Absolutely don't watch it.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, do we have anything to add? Did Ken forget anything, or?
Well,
I think he pretty much covered all of the major stuff.
I mean, he did talk about things like capacitors and stuff, which are the most common things that fail. But as computers start getting older, there are other things that start failing. For instance, if someone sends me a 128K Macintosh for repair, they usually have one or two dead, RAM chips in them. So it's not just the capacitors that fail. I mean, diodes can fail, resistors can fail, ICs can fail. Everything in a computer ultimately can fail. So there are some things that are fairly rock solid. You don't usually have inductors failing, but there are more than just capacitors that can fail.
I would say inductors can fail because I actually had one. I had this is not a computer or anything, but it was a SWR meter, standing wave ratio meter, because I'm in the ham radio. I bought one from a ham radio flea market, and the HF side did not work, but the VHF UHF side worked. Upon opening it up, I noticed that the inductor in it, that it had like a little round coil with the wire around it, was it was burnt. Yeah. And so I had to redo. I actually rewound it myself. I got the same gauge wire, everything. I redid it all myself, and it worked perfect after that. But yes, if you run too much power through a meter like that, it will burn it up, or an inductor or something like that. It will fail if you put too much voltage through it. So yeah, they can, but like Bruce just said though, those very rarely are something that would be something that fails a lot.
I mean, if there's a current going through it, it can fail.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I think Ken summed it up. I like the little animations he added to explain stuff as well. By the way, Macintosh Librarian is late. Make a note of that.
And we mentioned her channel.
Negative points right there. Yep.
She's gonna have to go back and watch the show so she hear her mention.
If you go to mac-yak.com, you can search topics from previous episodes. We don't go into capacitor plague. Well, we do at some episodes. But, there's a few episodes where we talk about how to clean your Mac, how to maintain it. Look those up if you don't know, because heat and dust are definitely big factors in electronics dying. So
Humidity.
you spend a lot of money on your Mac, or someone at some point spent a lot of money on your Mac if you bought it used. You want to keep it around for a long time. Recap it, get the batteries out of the old ones, keep it clean, all that stuff. So,
Keep it in a nice dry environment. Humidity is not
yeah,
a good friend to electronics.
you
Yep.
just know it.
And I did
Cool
tell
and
someone
dry.
that I was doing the collaboration with Ken. I didn't keep it a secret. I told someone. I can't remember.
Yeah,
who.
you told me.
I told someone. It was you,
And he
wasn't it?
forgot.
Yeah.
Because he didn't tell us. So yeah, we see
Mhm.
that.
I feel special when I get a secret to keep.
Ah. All right, guys. So is that going to be it for that one, or are we done? Or
I think we're good. If you haven't seen the video, the link we'll put it in the description later, or just go to
well,
Krazy Ken's
you put the link in the
channel. Or,
chat, so it was so.
yeah, Computer Clan, and watch it after. It's a
Yep.
good episode.
All right. Next topic for tonight. There's something that Apple put in the newest, well, not the newest version because it was in the last update. It's called the COVID-19 exposure tracking has been added to the iPhone and Android in some of the latest updates. So the problem with it is though is that it's in there. It's an API in the operating system. It doesn't do anything by itself. You need an app in order for it to actually work properly. However, we as MacYac have some thoughts on this, and I think I'm trying not to get too. Yes,
Political.
It's gonna happen.
but
Just let it happen.
I don't like something tracking. I know that yes, my phone can track me. They could track me, whatever else. I don't need something else that's going to send out, low-level Bluetooth emissions to other people's phones, and then from there to other people and other people. Even though they say it's anonymous, I don't buy that because how is it anonymous when they have to know that that person you just saw, 6 feet from you had COVID. So it can't be completely anonymous. I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. And therefore,
Yeah.
that COVID-19 exposure tracking will be turned off permanently on my phone. It will never be activated.
I agree.
Same here.
It's just it's what stops. Say something miraculous happens. This virus just suddenly disappears someday. What's to stop them from using it for something
Exactly.
else? I mean, it's not information that I really want Apple to have, or whoever makes the app. I don't feel like that's information they need to have. And to go a step further, I like that the watch and the iPhone, they can monitor your health and your
Heart rate, all that stuff. Yeah.
heart rate, all these other things, and they can link to apps that can give you suggestions on how to improve your general well-being and your health and your wellness, all that, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to monitoring other people and reporting to you when you've been close to somebody, I mean, what's to stop them from implementing something where they get that specific information? I just don't think that's something they need to have. I think when it comes, why isn't there a version of this for influenza? Why isn't there a version of this for anything that's communicable? And what's to stop them from instituting it once the whole COVID craze is over?
I think the general theme is simply a lack of trust of large companies, the system, the government, whatever it is. I just don't think people trust them, and I think that's the main thing. Maybe their intentions are totally benign. Maybe whatever information they have, they're not going to share with everyone. Maybe they're going to keep all their promises. But I just don't think many people trust them.
Like Action Retro says, I trust Apple with that kind of info more than Google. The problem is Google is open about it. This is our business model. We harvest as much as we can and sell it.
Not.
Apple says they do the opposite. They don't collect. They don't sell.
But I still don't trust them.
All we have is their word to go on.
I still don't trust them.
And all it takes is for somebody different to be in charge, or for enough people who think differently to be in charge to change that. And at that point, the infrastructure, as you will, if you will, for the software and the hardware is there, and all they have to do is take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's something that they should be involving themselves in.
By the way, Dana, your camera quality today is amazing. What happened?
Like that?
Well,
there you go. Here's a little advertisement for Logitech right there. Can you see it?
Macintosh Librarian actually even said it's kind of a HIPAA issue too, which is true. That is a big issue right there, because anything, there's laws written that you cannot, pry into somebody's health unless you specifically give them permission to do that. And like for instance, I do actually have a sleep tracker on my phone. Okay, it pairs with my watch. It uses that stuff, and it tracks my sleep and stuff. Which I think, Jay, you do the same thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But I allow that to happen, and it doesn't go anywheres except to my phone, and keeps a track of my sleep patterns and stuff. Which is.
But that's the problem. That's an app. This is a feature built in the OS. Apple is going to put this in their privacy statement and their terms of use. And if you don't agree, you don't use the phone. You can't say, well, I can't go without my phone. So you use it and then disagree with what you agreed to.
Now, my thing is, too, is that, yes, there is a little off switch on there. However, is that really turning it off completely?
It will. I mean, it's not an open source operating system, but there's plenty of ways to determine if an off switch actually works, and if they get caught.
There's people out there that are actually deconstructing this, so they're
and if they get caught with an on-off switch that doesn't work, the highest tree globally in the media, and so I'm sure that if there's an off switch, it'll work.
I would hope so, because.
I'd just like to make quick mention, in April, I think it was April here, the Australian government developed an app called COVID Safe, which does exactly what you're talking about, built into the operating system. But rather than being built in there, you have the option to download it or not. So it was basically doing exactly what we're describing, and that is using Bluetooth to detect if you've been in contact with another person who has this app on their phone. And just again, to put it into some perspective with that, we've got a population of around about 25 million here. Around about 6 million people have installed it. So what is that? That's a little over 20% of the population have actually downloaded the app. I'm not making any judgments one way or the other about that, just letting you know that as a raw statistic. But as I say, rather than this one being built in, this has been up and running since April, and rather than it being built into the operating system, it is a downloadable app.
Well, here's the thing though, Bruce, is that it's built into the operating. It's just an API. It doesn't do anything without an app. You actually have to download an app in order to use this COVID exposure track thing. In fact, Virginia just released one for the email about it, and I'm like, I deleted the email as soon as I got it, but because I'm not going to download it, of course. But each state is going to have its own. So the problem I see with that is, what is in the state app that could be bad? I mean, I know Apple has a walled garden, and they vet all the apps that come through and everything, but they do miss things sometimes. There have been apps that slip through and that cause damage. There were some viruses, I think, that came through the App Store that Apple didn't catch. So what's going to cause them not to be able to catch stuff that people are doing maliciously on some of these apps that somebody may download? Somebody can come up with a new app and kind of spoof the App Store, and poof,
Yep. And of course, the other really interesting thing about this is, unless they get a certain percentage of people using it, it's worthless anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'll be very interested to see, what ends up happening with it in the long term over there. Whether, because just based on what I've heard from a lot of people, they're as I say, suspicious and probably won't want to download it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this one?
For multiple reasons, I'm staying silent during this talk.
I'm staying away
Yeah.
from what I really want to say, Jay. But this I don't want to get into that whole mess. So
Yeah.
all right.
I think that's
So
I just
now,
want to say real quick to Mingo Hagen, good luck. Good luck.
all right.
I'm up to speed on what the Netherlands is planning with their. Yeah, good luck.
And you're not there in the
Right.
Netherlands, so
Huh?
you're not even in the Netherlands, so
No.
yeah. So there you go. All right, so Bruce, we're gonna get to yours after all today. You have 15 minutes.
Oh,
See?
well,
You got
excellent.
plenty of time.
I've got a whole 15 minutes. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's plenty of time to talk.
All right, so go for it.
Okay, so a couple of days ago, well, actually quite late at night, I ended up getting a message through I think it was Facebook Messenger from one of my customers, and he was someone who I've done quite a few recaps for, and he said, "Oh, have you seen this?" And just sent me a link to a Gumtree ad, and it was a lot of Mac computers, all beige ones. And then I sent a message to the guy. He was literally 2 suburbs away from me, so about a 10-15 minute drive. So I just got straight on there. I said, "Look, I'm really close by. I can come and grab them, virtually straight away. So are they still available?" And he got back to me and he said, "You can come and pick them up tomorrow morning before 8 o'clock, between 1 and 12, or between, I think it was like 5 and 6 or something like that." Well, before 8 o'clock, yeah, sure. And so I just said, "Look, I'll be there at midday." And he said, "Yep, no worries." So I turned up. To my knowledge, no other bites or anything like that, and I grabbed them. Now, there's a big risk involved with this stuff because we know all about exploded batteries, and we all know about leaky caps and all that. So there was a cost involved with it, but I looked at this stuff and I thought, you know what, I think it's worth it. And as it turns out, I think it was well and truly worth it, because within this collection was basically I'll tell you what was in it. There was a Quadra 700, a Macintosh 2CI, 7600 Power Macintosh, 2 8500s, a 9500, and a Mac 2. Did I get them all? I think so.
Yeah, I'm going through them one
Yeah.
at a time here.
So there were eight of them in total, and this one here, this Power Macintosh 7600, I opened it up and found a little bit of purple power in there. It's got a 400 megahertz G3 CPU upgrade inside. The 9500 and the 2 8500s are in pretty poor shape. You can see all the scuffs on the images there. They haven't been particularly well looked after. And of course, these are Macs right from the Spindler Plastics time. And so when I opened the 8500, no, I think that might have been the 9500. That's what it looked like when I took the case off. So this is before I've actually gone in and tried removing anything from inside it. I simply slid off the case, and that's what you're looking at there. You're looking at that great big pile of bits of plastic just all floating around the front there. After removing, I took out the logic boards on all of them, took out the batteries. That's all the plastic that was left afterwards. So that little pile that you see there, that's all of the plastic that fell out of those 3 machines.
And I guarantee you the picture before this where it shows the pieces sitting around the case, that's just from people moving it from one place to another and probably setting it down just a little bit too roughly, and things just break. I mean, that's how the kind of plastic we're talking about here.
What I found really interesting about it was that in the olden days when I used to open up a Quadra 800 or something like that, you undo the screws at the back, and I would then put one hand on the sort of plastic at the back and one hand on the metal case, and I would just pull them apart like that. Well, I did that this time, and the back just came off. The whole back plastic thing just went and broke away. I thought, okay, I have to open these different to how I used to when I used them in the day. But look, here are some of the great things about these. They were loaded up with RAM. They were loaded up with VRAM. Some of them had display cards in them. So, I was very pleased. This is the inside of the Macintosh 2. As you can see, it's got the solder-on Varna batteries, and you can just see the beginning of trace rot happening around there. So not a bad explosion, but I'm definitely going to need to do some repairs. You can actually see some of the top left transistors there looking a little bit grubby.
When are you
so
streaming, Bruce?
there is a lot of source material here, I have to tell you. So there's going to be plenty of streams to come. But look, took out all of the batteries. I had to obviously cut those ones away. But the real treasure was, as you can see, this Quadra 700, which the battery had either been removed. No, I think the Quadra 700 battery was in there and intact. Took that out, and just fired up. Already had 20 megs of RAM in it. It had no hard drive, but I just connected up my SCSI to SD externally, booted it up, and away she went. And the Quadra 700, the value of the Quadra 700, I mean, certainly in Australia, when these things get sold, they go for an absolute fortune. The Quadra 700 that I paid of the whole batch, and then some. So,
so you're not keeping it?
I am keeping it, but I'm just saying, if I was to sell it, I would cover the cost of it. But no way am I.
Is this that famous Unix system?
It's the Unix system that controls Jurassic Park. Yes. So this was what was also in the Mac 2, and this was a real treat. This one
That's the find right there.
Yeah, that's a Radius Rocket 68040 CPU upgrade. Thankfully, all of the drivers and the manual are still available on Macintosh Garden. It's got a little daughter card there, which has outputs to what seems like a SCSI cable, but I know there was a daughter card with a digital signal processor on it, and that I don't know if that's the daughter card because it doesn't match the daughter card that I have seen. It looks
so the port is on the daughter card.
Yes, the port's on the daughter card. So if you take that,
you got a few people in the chat creaming themselves right now. So I don't know what that is. I have no idea. It looks like a Mac Pro RAID card, for all I know, but a lot of people seem to be excited about it.
Pitar knows what it is. He knows about the SCSI add-on. Yeah.
I thought it was a SCSI 2 card. That's I thought. It is. I couldn't find any info on it. So thank you very much for that, Peter. I did not know. So there it is. When you plug it in, it fires up off the built-in CPU. Once the control panel loads, it comes up with that image, and it goes whoosh, a lovely whooshing sound, and then it reboots, using the 040 CPU. The RAM has to be on the card. It doesn't utilize the RAM on the motherboard, as far as I can see. But I believe there are ways you can you can sort of use that RAM for something else with the drivers.
Is that an early CPU upgrade, or?
It is an early CPU upgrade. And it comes with a whole bunch of plugins that allow you to utilize it in different software. You know, there are things like a JPEG compression a speed improver or something like that. And so you put a plugin into Photoshop, and then when you save JPEGs, it really speeds up saving JPEGs, that sort of thing. So, really nice little thing. And as I say, that in itself, that one card, more than covers the cost of what I paid for this group of computers.
And you're keeping
it. It's not, because you're never going to sell it.
I'm never going to sell it. Just makes me feel better about it. Okay, that's the thing.
That's a heck of a find right there.
I do plan on selling a couple of things. So I can't even remember if I mentioned this, but there's a 2CI in it, and the 2CI had the cache card, it had a network card, and it had a display card. And I'm probably going to sell the 2CI because I've already got one, and I don't want to be a hoarder. I want to share these things around to other enthusiasts. So I will, not for free, of course, but I will probably sell the 2CI to someone.
Well, you are going to probably sell some bezels, right?
Well, it's funny, actually, because I really want just the power supply out of one of those 8100s. One of the 8100s is already spoken for. Someone's already approached me and asked if they can buy it, and I've said yes, absolutely. And I'll give you all the little pieces of plastic in a little bag for you. And the other 8100, I'm probably going to take the power supply out and use that for testing when I'm doing recapping and stuff like that. So, so I may end up with a spare bezel to sell to someone. We'll see.
That is significantly marked up.
By the way, you might want to touch base with Pitar there, because he seems to know a lot about that card.
He does, and it's interesting. Just shout out to Pitar. I did actually. I saw your message in Facebook. I haven't had a chance to respond to it yet. I do want to tell you exactly what I did in order to get the Radius rocket up and running, because it did give me a little bit of grief to start off with. So I will be sending you I'll be sending you a reply to that on Facebook just to let you know. I ended up testing it in my 2CI rather than my Mac 2, simply because my Mac 2 hasn't been recapped yet, so I don't want to switch that on until it's all, shot. So, yeah, look out for live streams coming up. I will be working my way through them. So
This gives you an excuse to recap your Mac too now.
yeah. I mean, yeah. That's I can't these days. Anything that comes in that gets recapped, I can't just go, oh, I'm going to go out and recap it. I have to go, okay. Will this be a live stream? Okay. So, yeah, but anyhow, it was
famous people have to make,
Yes, that's right. I find like that, I mean, I've usually ended up having to buy all my computers one at a time and wait and, and try and find them and spend too much money on them and all that sort of stuff. So I felt like it was, it was my time. I was really happy to get that. So the only downside, there was no power supply in the Mac 2. But of course I can sort of bodge that up with an ATX power supply, but
Hey,
if anyone has a spare power supply, sell it.
Ming has a good idea. Just keep your camera running 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine I'd get that many viewers for that. But never.
He couldn't. I don't think Bruce could talk that long. I mean, I know you talk a lot during your videos, which is cool, but you'd lose your voice.
That'd be
Definitely
bit
a
much,
nice find, though. I don't know most of that stuff, but nice.
Yep.
Well, between the Radius card and the 2CI with the cash card and the Sonic cards, you can get your money back easy.
Oh yeah.
If you wanted to do that.
Just to give you an idea, I think what was it out here? I think was it a 2CI? Let me just check. I think it was a 2CI sold here recently for $450 on its own. So
that's about what Quadra 700s sell for here fairly often.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Yeah, it was nice little find. So
indeed.
I was actually Skyping with with some of the Mac Yak guys as I was opening them up and checking the batteries. So that was fun.
So we got previews of it. Well, I didn't. I wasn't on a Skype call at the time, but anyways. All right.
Everyone wasn't.
So we're down almost to the end of our show. We're going to go over our shameless self-promotion. So we got a little time left. So we'll let some of you guys, if you got anything going on your channels, just go ahead and pop up.
Well, can I go first?
You already spoke up, so.
Cool. Anyway, I am going to be doing a live stream tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's another Q&A session. I'm also officially back, guys. I released a new video yesterday. It was doing a video with Mike. It was a fun time. You guys should go check that out. And there's a lot of things coming up on the channel very soon. In fact, I'm going to be filming a bunch of stuff this weekend. So anyway, next.
Very good.
That's about it then, I guess.
Come on, Dana.
Dana,
what are you doing?
Are you doing stuff?
Dana is about to start doing stuff.
I have been doing stuff. My basement is painted, and I got my new storage shelves in, and the desk will be here tomorrow. It was supposed to be here today, but it was coming from Chicago, and it didn't get here in time. And then I will be moving all of my collection from back there down to the basement so that I can get my upstairs bedroom cleared out. I've already converted it into an office, and so that will be my workstation, and then downstairs it'll be my office upstairs. Downstairs will be my work area. So getting pretty excited. I've got like I said, the painting's done, the floor has been done, and it's just a matter now of finishing a couple little touch-ups, and then I've got to paint a little bit of trim, and then I'll be probably assembling all the desks and everything this weekend.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Bruce?
Now, I realise that last segment was essentially just one great big long self-promotion, but there is something else here. This is something that I've got coming up on a live stream. This just arrived today, that I am going to be spending a little bit of time having some fun with. It just came in via courier while we were doing the show.
Is that the Aussie?
It is. This is my brand spanking new oscilloscope. So I will be mucking around with an oscilloscope on my sort of upcoming live stream. So that will be a little bit of fun
Nice.
watching me muddle around with technology that I barely know how to use.
There you go.
Sounds fun.
All right, guys. So we reached pretty much to the end of the show. If you guys want, we do have a Discord channel. You can come join us on Discord. Sometimes we're there yakking, sometimes we're not. I think a lot of us are tired tonight. We may not be there, but if so, some of us may be there. But everybody's welcome to come in at any time. Just make sure you read the rules and follow the rules of the server. We are pretty strict about it. Another thing, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, okay? We only come out once a week, so you're only going to get one notification a week. Yes, I know, I'm getting to that. Hold on. Give me a second.
Making sure
Make sure
you
you
forget.
make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little bell icon. The reason
Smash
why I
that
say
bell.
that, we're up to 770 subs right now. We're 230 away from giving away our what we're supposed to be giving away soon, which is a 2008 MacBook, which I am giving away. Rocky is giving away a $50 Steam card, and Grudy is giving away a iPod was that a Nano or Mini?
It's a mini.
Again,
Okay.
come on.
I don't know. There's so many different
The
iPods.
Nano's like this
Yeah,
big.
whatever.
Exactly.
So, but we're giving away 3 pretty good items right there. They're all retro stuff, except for the Steam $50 Steam thing. But make sure you go ahead and go to watch episode number 69 to figure out how to actually enter the giveaway. So we're on 83 now. We started this at episode 69. So come on, guys, we got to get some more subs
Yeah.
in there.
Come on.
We got to reach 1,000 before.
Tell your friends.
That's right.
Tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
Even if
I don't care if friends or
Yeah,
not.
tell people you
even if
don't
they're
like.
not your friends,
Yeah.
tell them.
Just tell people on the street.
Yeah. Sit there and say, hey, go to that Mac Yak guys, man. They know what they're doing, or seem to know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, don't lie to
You
them.
almost
Goodness.
finished that with a straight face.
I
He's only
almost
saying
did.
that because we had sound from the get-go today.
Exactly. We actually
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
We didn't have
getting
any
better.
problems today. Knock on wood here. So no problems yet. So, anyways, guys, it's been fun tonight, and
Yup.
and we will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Yep. See
See
you
ya.
guys.